Good morning. Rise in freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com. We're glad and thankful to have you here. And somebody just made a purchase at apforlibertyshop.com. Stephanie Peterson joining us live. What's up, Steffi?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm just feeling in my prime today.
You're feeling in your prime?
Yes.
Good. Wow. You're not.
That's okay.
Okay.
I have reached acceptance. We know we're not tens. That is okay.
We're going to have so much fun today on Freedom Family Friday. I can't wait for Hannah Cox to join us live at 7:30 a.m. Central Time. She's in a bit of a cat fight with Pearly Things online.
I know. Usually I don't get involved in this girl drama, so I'm a little nervous, actually. It scares me.
Hannah and I, we're all friends, okay?
I know.
And so Hannah and I, we can debate these things as adults. We usually agree with Hannah when it comes to things like economics and politics and all that kind of stuff.
Sometimes I'm like, let's just go back to talking about libertarian things.
But here's the thing. But we find ourselves on opposite sides of this discussion about, Pearl and who's in your prime and where, and saying mean things or voting Democrat. Charlie Kirk and birth control and all this stuff. And I talked about it at length yesterday, but we didn't get Steffi's opinion on it. So we're going to hear from Steffi this morning. Let's hear from the ladies today.
That's right.
And then let's hear from the gentleman. Justin Peterson will be joining us at 8 a.m. Central from Boston live. There's almost too much to cover. There's just been a lot going on.
I know, it's overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. Oh, oops, let me mute my phone. There we go. Good morning, Ildy the Hun, Kermode Bear.
So what did they buy? What did that person buy?
Oh, it was just a coffee subscription. So it was their coffee subscription getting outed, and it doesn't. So that doesn't actually count towards it.
That's right,
because it's an automatic thing.
That's okay. But we do have coffee subscriptions over at apforlibertyshop.com.
We do. But if you'd like to unlock the bonus content for today, and people love this week's theme, which is the guns that won.
Yes, I do like that idea. I thought it was very clever.
Yeah, the guns that won. The guns that helped to build the American Republic. So if you'd like to help unlock that mini documentary today, you can either make a purchase at apforlibertyshop.com or you can make a Rumble Rant donation today. So get that done. We appreciate that.
Got to get to 50.
Yes, got to get to $50 by the end of the show. We see Tony Martinez is there in the chat this morning.
Tony, we got a package from you.
Yes, they're saying our mics are not working. I don't know, but it looks like it's popping. Says Bruce Burtwhistle says your effects are working, but your mics are not. I see the mics popping on the screen. So somebody tell us if you're hearing. They are working for me, says Corey and Kelly. Bruce has done this to us before. Okay, so
should we turn on our volume on the stream?
Well, let's see. Hold on. Let's see if I can hear it. No, I hear us. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. Bruce, something's wrong. Stop it, Bruce.
Bruce, turn on your hearing aid.
Yeah, turn your hearing aid up, Bruce. You can, if you want to let us know something's up with the show technically, the best way to do it is to send us a text at 573-319-1586. Again, the text lines are open at 573-319-1586. Freedom Family Friday is the day when we kind of goof around and we talk about relationships and, not as much politics. Things are just a little bit more fun, a little bit more funny, a little bit more light. So, don't expect today to be like the structured, typical, like topic to topic news show that you'd normally get, right? So today we're going to have a little bit of fun and we're going to open the care package from Tony Martinez.
Oh, I love gifts.
I know we do. We're so spoiled here. Tony has sent us a package from Argentina.
Are we doing it now?
Tony Martinez. Yes, go ahead. Let's open it up now. Go ahead.
I know. I'm so interested. I love gifts from afar.
No, we haven't looked inside yet. We broke the seal.
Austin opened it with a knife. He made sure to do it, not me, so that I wouldn't hurt myself.
I'm a real man, baby. All right, here it is. What do we got inside, Steffi? Let's take a look and see what we got from Argentina.
Oh my gosh, it's a bombilla.
What is a bombilla?
So it's a metal straw that you drink your bamate with.
Bamate? Oh, that's kind of cool.
This is Argentina. It has an Argentina emblem on it there. Yeah, so you would drink it. It kind of looks like a peace pipe or something.
That's cool. I always like to make the joke that you can be the most it's got a little Argentina flag on there. That's cool. Thanks, Tony.
I've seen one of those in person.
It's interesting.
That's like a metal straw that's in our tumblers, but it's a lot fancier.
So here's the thing about this. It's not a straw straw like you're used to, where it has like the one end open like a typical straw, and then the other end open like it looks like it's got like holes punched on either side. So this is how Argentines drink.
This is so cool. It has a tea infuser built in. So basically, yes, that's a tea infuser right there.
Really?
So what happens is usually when they make yerba mate or yerba mate, as they say it in Argentina, they sprinkle the leaves, the yerba mate leaves, in their tea, and so they don't take them out when they're drinking, and they just drink with that straw. And as you see here, the leaves can't get in the straw.
Interesting.
So
that's cool.
For teas that we have.
Why is this not in the United States too common?
So cool.
Well, this seems like such a brilliant thing. This is okay. So thank you for that. If you're just tuning in, by the way, good morning, Ashley Ann, joining us live. We're opening up a care package that Tony Martinez sent us from Argentina.
And we're just fascinated with the bombilla.
Yes,
and to go with the bombilla is a gourd.
That's cool. What is this?
Yerba mate gourd. So this is where you put the actual tea. You put the actual yerba mate leaves and water.
And it's got the cool little Argentina flag on there. That's really awesome.
Oh, this is beautiful. Okay, so you go like this. I have never owned these things, and I've always wanted to.
And now we can drink our yerba mate. This is awesome. Thank you, Tony. We appreciate it. You rock.
Wow. I tried to make a yerba mate tea business some time ago. It's really hard to make it here in America because of all of the government laws.
Floby Tenderson donated $5. He says, FFF and guns. Stack your ammo and Satoshis. Viva la libertad, carajo. God bless you, Petersons. Right back at you, Floby. We appreciate that.
Beautiful.
This is cool. So Real Hunter Human is here, and he's live. He's in Argentina right now. So this is my first time ever seeing one of these things before.
Do you drink yerba mate?
Yerba mate. I'm sure they must, right? It's like the national. Isn't it like the national beverage?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very
let's see what else we got here.
Social drink. That's for sure.
What do we got here? What else?
Okay.
It's like Christmas. It's like Argentine Christmas.
Entre dos.
Entre dos.
I just love looking at packaging.
Neat. What do you? No, I think isn't that the
frambuesa?
Isn't that the term?
Negro?
That's the tea, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think that's.
I don't know Spanish.
You can't read Spanish.
It says negro.
Frambuesa. Negro. Well, that's a black person.
But it feels squishy.
Well, that's tea, isn't it?
I think it's like a cookie. It feels like
Are you sure? Well, don't you like break it up? Don't you break it? I think you do. Tony's going to have to explain it to us. Okay.
Wow. So it must be dark in color, whatever it is.
I think you break this up, and this is the tea. It's my guess.
It's like a.
Is it? Are you sure?
So.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I have no idea.
Just bite right into it.
Just bite into the yerba mate.
Cavemen discovering the world.
Well,
is this what they look like?
It doesn't help.
Like
we can't speak Spanish, so we don't know what this is.
Oh my goodness!
All right, what do we got?
Oh, there's
Hannah Davis joining us at 7:30. By the Oh, that's the tea. That's the tea. Okay. Yes, there it is.
This is, guys.
Can I see?
I've never held real yerba mate.
Me either. Look at this is beautiful. Look at this like little
American kind.
It's in like a little burlap sack here. Yerba mate. Tucangua, or Argentina. Viva la libertad, carajo. This is great. Oh man, that smells good.
Really?
Yeah, I like that actually.
It's an earthy drink, very earthy. It gave us, what is this?
What does it say?
Well, it's in Spanish. Oh, but also in English. How to prepare a good mate. Fill with yerba mate, 3/4 of the mate cup. Add hot water to the emptiest side of the mate cup and place the straw there. The water must never be boiled.
Really?
Oh, yeah, because it's something about burning the leaves.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay, good to know.
Oh, wow. This is so cool. This is legit.
You're going to be making some yerba mate this weekend. I'm excited.
Can't drink too much because it has a lot of caffeine in it.
You have a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll have a little bit. That's okay. Daddy will drink the caffeine. Thank you, Tony.
Love it. You're going to be like drinking from your gourd every single day now.
I can't wait. I'll be drinking my yerba mate.
We need to make some AP for Liberty Shop gourds.
Do I look like Javier Milei?
He drinks yerba mate a lot.
I think it's kind of like, isn't it like the law?
It's what the babies drink. Instead of drinking breast milk when they're infants, they drink yerba mate.
Hunter,
it's okay for
Hunter
them.
Human says, don't take in the night, make insomnia. That's probably true, yes.
And he gave us a nice letter too.
Yeah, so we need these in the shop so the rest of everybody else can try it. So we've got to get ourselves some yerba mate.
That's life goals.
Yeah, we're going to try and get ourselves a good yerba mate supplier. We want to bring it to the United States, and we want to brand it Millet Mate.
So he in his letter, he said it's the authentic mate cup and metal straw called a patillo. So I guess both of them together are called a patillo. So the gourd and the bombilla are a patillo. And the best way to learn how to prepare yerba mate is watching a YouTube short. So we will be doing that
today.
Oh, and these are sweets.
Those are cookies
called alfajores.
Alfajores?
Which are like a cross between a moon pie and a Milky Way bar.
Ooh, that sounds good.
You got baby Hazel excited. Okay.
Do not come.
Oh, I am so pleased with this. This is so cool. I'm gonna eat. It's like I don't want to, waste it. I want to savor this.
We will. We'll take it slow with Jorge's.
Yes. Oh, Tony, you are amazing.
Thank you, Tony.
Amazing.
Let's give it up for Tony Martinez.
Will be on its way. Wow.
I used to joke, it's like, you could be the most masculine guy in the world. You could be like a former Navy SEAL. You could be totally testosterone laden, but you cannot look masculine drinking from a straw. Let me demonstrate here. It's like, yeah. So I was like going out with this one girl. It was like I just killed Osama bin Laden. Excuse me, hold on 1 second. So anyways, I just
see, to me it looks like hookah. When people are smoking hookah, that looks like the same kind of straw device to me.
It does. Have you ever used a hookah? Have you ever tried a hookah?
I've been with my friends who did it, though.
I miss hookah.
I have really bad lungs. It's probably not advised.
Yeah, same. But I really I used to love doing hookah when I was in Washington.
It smells really yummy. I know there's a lot of flavors.
I used to get a white grape and watermelon, and it was just so good, so good.
Yeah. So if we were in the Middle East, that's basically Middle East yerba mate. Hookah to the Middle East is yerba mate in Argentina.
Are we having fun yet?
This is great.
Hannah Cox is going to join us live in 15 minutes. Let's talk about some news.
My goodness. We've already spent all this time opening the gift.
I know.
It's worth it, you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tony. Now we're going to learn a little bit more about Argentine culture. We appreciate that. The Wake Up America show is brought to you by viewers and listeners like you. If you haven't already, guys, don't forget, click that like button to help us to get out in more people's feeds, and repost the show. We'd love to have you come back and join us regularly. Freedom Family Friday is what we call it, when my smoking hot redheaded libertarian wifey Stephanie Peterson joins us on the show, and she is so beautiful.
If we can call me smoking hot anymore.
Because you're not in your prime?
I'm 36.
You're 36. You're pregnant. You got a baby on the way.
Your eggs are struggling.
Your eggs are struggling. You're not geriatric, though, we learned.
Until 40.
Not until 40.
Technically speaking.
That's what the doctor said.
Yes.
You're not geriatric. So.
But can we trust the doctor? The doctor is also the same person that prescribes birth control. Who do we trust?
Where are you on the whole birth control makes women liberal Democrats thing, Stephanie? We didn't get your take on this.
Well, am I a liberal Democrat?
No.
I was on birth control since I was 19.
But you used to be a much more fearful person, I would say.
Yes.
And the argument was that, or at least the science that we talked about yesterday, is that women on birth control have a prefrontal cortex that is thinner. Now, that can get reversed after time and not being on birth control. But the younger you are when you start it, and the longer you're on it, the more dramatic the impacts are. Your prefrontal cortex deals with emotions, regulations, and fear. So, Charlie Kirk took that to the next level and was like, oh, it's going to make you a bitter liberal Democrat. However, being more fearful, being more less emotionally regulated, you could draw that assumption out. Now, is there any hard data? No, and you're probably never going to be able to find it, like something like that. However,
yeah, doctors certainly don't share that with you. I mean, any doctor that you pose any concern to, they'll be like, "Oh no, there's nothing to worry about. You'll be okay." So, I mean, they give it out like candy. So, I mean, yes, I've been a conspiracy theorist, but I've also had anxiety my whole life.
Is it problematic though? I mean, but here's the thing: like, you were more of a conspiracy theorist when you were on it, and you were more fearful, and you had more anxiety. Now,
yeah, in my early 20s, so that would have been when I was on birth control,
right?
Coincided very much,
right? And I mean, like Democrats, like they've got the biggest conspiracy theories of all, right? They've got some of the biggest, most gigantic conspiracy theories that there are, right? JFK,
right?
And, the January 6ers was an insurrection coup attempt to take over the U.S. government and plot, not that the right wingers don't have their own conspiracy theories or libertarians don't have theirs as well. But I mean, to be fearful is to see plots everywhere, paranoia and fear. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to suggest that birth control makes you more emotional, might make you less emotionally regulated. It might make you more fearful.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say what came first, the chicken or the egg, because anxiety, your amygdala is overactive. I don't know if that's in the prefrontal cortex, but your amygdala is overactive. So you go in fight or flight a lot easier. So it's like, I don't know, do more anxious people get on birth control because they're scared of getting pregnant? That's why I was on birth control, to be extra, extra safe.
But now you're not on birth control, right, and you're being pregnant and you love it because you don't get the headaches.
I still had PMS even with birth control. Right. I still had my hormonal acne. I still had my headaches. So it's like birth control did not help me at all with those symptoms. But yes, it helps with your flow. So it's not so heavy.
Yeah. So interesting. And you and Hannah and I have kind of been sparring a little bit, right? She's going to join us here in about 15 minutes, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of these relationships, some of this relationship drama.
We'll get out from our keyboard.
Yeah. No more keyboard warrior. We're going to look each other in the eye. We should. We like Hannah. Hannah's our friend. But we just find ourselves in disagreement with this whole, Pearl Davis and her have been beefing online because Pearl has been going after some of these women that she called, she's been going after feminists.
Right.
And Hannah is a libertarian and a feminist, right? So she's going to...
Yeah, she's very much about her career and her success.
And she just says things like, she doesn't want to have kids but even though she is going to get married, so I guess, anything could happen.
I don't know her newest views.
Well, I'm really curious. I wonder if any of that has changed, and now that she's getting married.
Maybe.
We're going to find out.
We'll see.
But what I have been finding interesting is this whole debate about that Pearl has started about women being in their prime, right, and what men are attracted to. And Hannah and Pearl have been just catfighting right here, like a big, huge fight.
Even the P word
over
has
what
been
men
thrown out.
Oh, I know. Well, here's the thing. So
can we say that word on here, by the way?
Go ahead, yeah.
P word.
Go ahead.
Pedophilia.
Oh, yeah. Oh. I mean, YouTube will probably shut us down,
yeah.
But who cares? We're rumblers anyway.
Right.
But here's the thing. So Pearl is calling Hannah out for this post that Hannah had made about how Hannah says it's perfectly normal and natural for women like her to be attracted to men who are taller.
Right.
But Hannah finds it to be predatory. And from the context of this post, and we'll have Hannah explain it to us, from the context of this post, it appears that Hannah is sort of like sideways accusing me of being attracted to like little girls because she doesn't qualify this here. She says men who like or prefer younger women, which by the way is all men, no matter what their own age,
yeah,
do so because they are attracted to little girls or want someone dumb that they can control. I mean, you're not dumb.
No.
And I don't control you.
No.
And I'm not attracted to little girls.
Right.
I am attracted to women who are younger than me, but not little girls. Right. So I guess.
So I guess I wonder what the age frame is there that she's discussing. It's like, would it be my age?
Yes.
If you like someone who's 7 years younger than you, but I'm an adult.
But it's kind of like my beef with this is that it's like this is women justifying their own wants and desires and likes. And saying and poo-pooing men having preferences, like perfectly normal, natural, healthy male preferences. So it's kind of like it's a double standard. So, for example, if a woman asks a man his height, That's acceptable, right?
Right, because women, we have a biological tendency to choose men who would be fertile. And so typically men who are fertile are more masculine, they might be taller, have more facial hair, things that represent more testosterone. Someone, who can keep us secure, provide for us.
Right.
Those are the things us women look for, whereas men look for women who are more fertile.
Right. Now,
we're in our fertile years.
And it's not to say, and we see some ladies in the chat are saying, "Oh, my husband is younger than me." Are there exceptions to the rule? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, my last long-term relationship, my partner was 2 years younger than me.
Is there any?
But I never quite respected him as much as an older man, and I realize that now.
Okay.
Yes. So it's like when us women are with younger men, I feel like there's always going to be something there where we just don't quite feel as protected by them as a younger man.
Right. And so here's the thing. So if a woman says to a man, "How tall are you?"
Yeah.
Nobody bats an eye. But what if a man responds with, "How much do you weigh?"
Oh, a woman would be like, "Oh, how dare you ask me that question? Why do you even need to know? Why is that important?"
Please, no.
How tall are you? Okay, well, what's your bra size?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I would gladly tell you now because I'm very proud of it.
Big old bubbies.
I don't even know how big they are. They're just so big.
Okay, it's been nice lately. Don't forget, guys, as you file in, to click that like button and subscribe to the channel by clicking follow.
If you'd like to see my bras, you can watch my very new show, Hustling and Homemaking.
Yes.
And my first episode is all about my pregnancy and my big boobs, and I show my bras. If you'd like to see that, go to youtube.com/AP for Liberty, and you can watch Hustling and Homemaking.
Just FYI, today's show is going to be a little PG-13. So I know my dad tunes in sometimes, and and he's just he probably gets embarrassed hearing us talk about your boobs. So, I mean, it is what it is. We're very open. We're libertarians. But,
yes.
But anyway, so it's this concept of what women like and prefer is allowed, what men like and prefer is not allowed, right? Like our standard. It's not to say that there aren't exceptions to the rule. There are, I remember being in high school and they showed us the movie Harold and Maude. And you probably, do you remember this film?
I think I might have seen it one time. It was in psychology class. But it was when I was older.
It was it was a 17-year-old boy with a 70-year-old woman. It was like she was ancient, like very old.
Yeah.
And it was about their romance and kind of like the sexual innuendo between the two of them. And it was this whole thing. And it was this very avant-garde thing, because when a woman goes for a younger guy, she's a cougar. But when an older man goes for a younger woman, he's either a sugar daddy or he's a pedophile, or he's like, see. So the double standards that exist in how we sort of cordon off or sanction what men are allowed to prefer, a lot of it has to do, I think, with feminists and women who are older who want to police younger people's sexuality because they've aged out of the sexual marketplace. And that was what women were really upset about, being in their prime, right? You were sort of debating online, because we're all in our primes, of course, right? It's like,
yes.
I am willing to admit I'm a fading beauty. Was I a beauty? Sure. Am I beauty now? Sure. Am I fading? Absolutely.
Well, the thing is, people are confused with what prime means. So when I said yesterday, it's okay to not be in your prime, people are like, what? I'm in my prime. I've been working out harder than I ever have. In my 30s, my abs are rock hard. I used to be fat when I was 20. So it's like there's physical prime, there's professional prime, there's mental prime. So what we're referring to is physical prime.
Right.
Okay? That fades.
Your best childbearing years.
Yes. It fades after your 30s.
Right. When you're early.
It is scientifically proven.
And men are going to be more attracted, typically, not always, but typically. Are there going to be Harold and Maudes? Yes. Is that going to be the norm? No. Are we allowed to speak in generalities? Yeah, we can. And you stop have to pretend as if 50% of men are attracted to women that are 60 years old. They're not. Okay. Most women are attracted to women who are in their early 20s because of their value in fertility. That's just what it is. And women tend to be attracted to older men who are taller because they might have stronger kids, healthier genetics. They might be able to provide more.
And that also brings you to the women wanting 10% of the men, because us women, we only have so many eggs to give out. And so we want our eggs to be given to top tier men.
And that's why we said it was actually good that you met me while you weren't on birth control, because when women are on birth control, they tend to be more attracted to men who are not as masculine.
Yeah, I've heard it changes your attraction. So that is very interesting. So yeah, I'm so glad that I saw you when I had no filter.
There's a great documentary called Evolution, Why Sex? And it's the question of why do we have not just biological sex, but why do we have sexual intercourse? And the reason that they found is because it allows us to share 50% of our DNA, which provides us with better what do you call it? To qualifications against disease, protection against. When we shared genetics, it's harder for diseases to catch up with the rapid changing in our DNA. But
a dog that's mixed breed.
But what they found was that women in their cycles will be attracted to different types of men's faces.
Oh yes.
And in that they found they were more, when they were ovulating, they wanted that square jawed, more masculine guy. But the other 3 weeks of the month, they were more attracted to men who had softer features, who were more.
They need more of that emotional
support and that provided. But when they have babies, they want to be with the man who's got the superior genetics.
They're feeling sexual.
Anyway, so we can talk about this kind of stuff all day, but we don't have time now because we're going to have to debate it with Hannah Cox. What do you say? You ready, Steffi?
Oh boy!
Oh boy! You're going to get we're going to get the ick. We're going to talk to her about getting the ick.
For this.
So yeah, it's going to be fun. Just relax. Hannah is our friend. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Hannah Cox talking about her fight or beef with Pearly Things or beef with us on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Expanse of time, a year might seem like a mere moment, but oh, what a year it's been. In September 2022, Austin and Stephanie Peterson embarked on a journey to wake up America. They began humbly, with just 20 souls tuning in, learning, listening, and though challenges arose, like the looming shadow of YouTube demonetization, their spirit never waned. And now, thanks to you, thousands rise with the sun to join them, to listen, to engage, to be a part of a community. So here's to you, and to Wake Up America, for memories shared, for friends made, for the journey ahead, and for never, ever forgetting to rise and freedom. Happy anniversary.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Is the outdoor your home about as exciting as a library? Then spice it up and unbore your space with our custom metal signs. Crafted with love and a bit of libertarian magic, you can customize your own metal sign at ap4libertyshop.com. So head to ap4libertyshop.com, customize your own metal sign today.
Welcome to a world of vocal discovery at Peterson Voice Studio. I'm Justin Peterson, here to guide your musical journey. Envision a place where your voice reaches new heights, where every note tells a story. We embrace all singers, from the enthusiastic shower vocalists to aspiring stars, ensuring each voice finds its unique rhythm and tone. Are you ready to elevate your voice? Visit petersonvoicestudio.com and sign up for remote lessons tailored just for you. Let's begin this melodious journey together.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your Founding Flavors at apforlibertyshop.com. Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. We're glad and thankful to have you here. Since it's Freedom Family Friday, my smoking hot redheaded libertarian wifey, Stephanie Peterson, is joining us live in studio. How you feeling, Steffi?
I'm feeling good.
Good. Glad to have you here. We appreciate you very much. Justin Peterson will continue the trend, and he'll join us this morning at 8 a.m. Central Time to kind of respond to everything we've been talking about in this hour.
That's right.
And then we'll talk to him about...
How do gay men feel about what's going on with these women?
We'll have to wait to find out what the ultra-gay right-wing guy says from Boston this morning, but for that, we will have to wait. But we got to hear from Hannah Cox. She's been beefing with Pearlie Davis kind of back and forth. She posted a video the other day about Pearl getting owned. You and I watched a little bit of that last night where she was talking to our buddy Jack Hunter. Pearlie Davis posted this tweet that Hannah had made about what she finds attractive and what, is
right, about the men being with younger women.
Men being with younger women. I mean, this is all blowing up right now. And Hannah and I have also been, and you and me, we've been kind of going back and forth.
Oh, we were talking about it all last night on the couch.
Yes, Hannah and I, now we agree on pretty much on everything, like politics-wise, limited government, free trade, free markets, capitalism. But Hannah's kind of, I don't know, she feels a little irked by some of the things we've been saying about, about women and relationships and marriage and stuff. So let's hear it from Hannah herself. She's joining us live.
Good morning, guys. Good to be with you.
Glad to have you here, Hannah. Thank you very much.
And congratulations on your engagement.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks. And congrats to you guys, too. I mean, I've written it online multiple times, but very excited for your new one.
We're very happy. I'm going to be a girl dad, Hannah, which definitely alters my perspective a little bit about things. I think about the future for my little girl and what kind of world I want to live in and how to raise her, how to keep her off the stripper pole or from starting an OnlyFans. What does it mean to be a good father to a little girl? And, that's going to be a challenge. But, when I think about the context of modern relationships, what Stephanie and I have been able to build, we started our relationship a little bit later in life, but one of the big debates that you and I guess you haven't Pearl muted, so you haven't seen what she's saying, is this conversation about what men find attractive in terms of younger women and what is an age gap difference that is acceptable. And you have very strong opinions about that. Can you share that with us?
Yeah. Well, I will say I don't necessarily have very strong opinions on individual relationships, what's appropriate, right? I think there are always outliers for people on an individual level. Certainly, we know based on the data, if you are in a very large age gap relationship, you are much more likely to divorce. And I do think typically when you see somebody, especially repeatedly, trying to date somebody who is vastly younger than them, it tends to indicate that there is something kind of mentally off with them. Developmentally, they're not where they really should be if that is a pattern in their life. That being said, there's always outliers. So I have a lot of issues in this debate, but they don't really center on this is the only way people should be in relationships, and this is the age they should get married at, and this is the only kind of appropriate partnership. My problem is that there is a growing sentiment on the far right. I don't want to ascribe this to all Republicans. I think it's a very online discussion, but it certainly is becoming very prevalent, that is anti-woman, that is blaming women for issues that men are having in society, and that is basically trying to fearmonger women and tell them, you need to lower your standards, you need to accept what you can get, you shouldn't have to have these kinds of boundaries or these kinds of expectations that you're looking for. Instead of saying to men, hey, you're not getting what you want in life, you're not ending up where you want to be, you're not getting the romantic partnerships that you want to have, perhaps you want to start a family and you're not finding equal partners, what could you do to better elevate yourself and to present yourself as a better partner or to be a better mate? Because the thing that makes me the maddest about this whole discussion is there is this, I guess, premise that there's all these women who are just adamantly foregoing relationships in their 20s and just thinking, I'll just stay hot forever and get married in my 30s. And that's not what's happening. I am a woman. I have grown up in this era. I have seen my friends and colleagues and other women try to date. I have seen what's out there. I've experienced it myself. I fortunately have found a great partner and am engaged now, but it's been rough out there. Many women are trying to meet good partners. Many women are working on themselves. And what's interesting is the conversations that happen both offline and online in women's spaces are often premised around what I said men should be having, which is how do we get better? How do we fix ourselves? How do we find the right man? What spaces should we be putting ourselves in so that we are encountering men of value? How do we become better women? It really is not this sort of stereotype of like, I'm just going to be on OnlyFans and thought around for a few years and then decide to
A
settle
lot of them
down. And
do,
so
but a lot of them do, Hannah. A lot of them do, right? And like, again, getting ready to be a father to a girl dad here, I recognize that one of the most important roles as a father is to ensure that my daughter doesn't end up in sex work. There is no man on this planet that wants a daughter that ends up in pornography or at the strip joint, or I would much rather have my daughter go to school, get an education, and get a job if she wants to, or be a tradwife, stay-at-home mother if she wants to. But I don't want my daughter ending up in sex work. I don't want her ending up on Fresh and Fit podcasts as a thought. I don't want her, shaking her ass for money online. So, and there's a very important reason for that, because there's danger involved in that industry, and I
mhm.
prefer to ensure that my daughter is protected. But in this, like, what you're sort of talking about to some extent, Hannah, is the sort of the tactics in terms of like what we should be saying or what we shouldn't be saying in order to attract more women to our coalitions. Because kind of the what where you and I were kind of tussling a little bit back and forth this morning was what Charlie Kirk was saying about birth control, which I think is a bridge too far, some of the claims he made. And I went into some of the science of what birth control does to people's brains. But your argument is that women and minorities are fleeing the right due to doofuses like him. And then I said, what you seem to be saying here, Hannah, is that, if we have meaningful discussions about these things, which might sometimes hurt women's feelings, it seems as if you're kind of threatening us to some extent. Like, in a man's world, Hannah, like if you want true equality, if you want to be at our level, if you want to have the same things that men can have in society, then you have to recognize that like it's a very, very cruel, cold, and dangerous world where people throw elbows and people say mean things. But I don't go out there and suggest that I'm going to vote Democrat because somebody called me mean names online, or suggested, that I'm a left liberal because I believe in, a more free market immigration system than Donald Trump does. That's just kind of like part of being an adult. Like, it seems as almost in a way you're sort of infantilizing women by suggesting that their emotions have to take priority, because if we hurt their feelings or say mean things, they might go and vote Democrat. Do you see where I'm coming from?
I see why you're saying that, but I think your premise is false, because I think you're alleging that that most Americans are voting based on facts and logic. And I think that's ridiculous. I think all Americans vote predominantly based on emotions and feelings, men and women. And we used to have leaders in our movement. I think you've been one of them, Austin, which is why I called you out on this, who
Mhm.
put some thought into what they said, who thought about how to message truth to people. I am certainly not someone who shies away from truth or facts or even making hard assertions that people need to hear. But there is a way that you go about doing that. There's a way that you message things if you want to actually get people on your side. And I think in order to do that, your end goal has to be established. You just established one that's really good. I don't want my daughter to end up in sex work. Certainly, that is a goal most people would share. And when that's your goal, then you put some thought and intentionality into, okay, what are the ways I would parent in order to ensure that she doesn't end up there? Is it calling her a whore and saying, like, don't be a slut? No, it's going to be being a good father, being supportive, showing her pathways to entrepreneurship or to college or to having a skill set where she can provide for herself, whether she finds a man or whether she does not. The same thing is
Social
true in
shaming,
political
but
messaging.
social shaming is an important way, a non-governmental, non-intrusive way for us to, I won't say police, but for us to corral people away from making dangerous or poor decisions. I mean, there, like, some people should be ashamed for their behavior, and they should be called out for that behavior. And I think shame is an appropriate tool for. I think that we don't shame people enough in society. I think that we let people girl boss too close to the sun. We pat them on the butt when they blow up to 500 pounds. We practice body acceptance when in reality, people should be ashamed for the poor decisions that they make, for the quite obviously poor decisions that they make that might lead to not only their destruction, but social destruction as well. Do you agree?
If it's targeted, but that's not what's happening. If you're going to say, if you're an OnlyFans girl, this should be shamed. Okay, fine. But when you say all women over 30 are used goods and no longer have value, or when you say being on birth control makes you a whore, the fact is with birth control, I happen to agree with many of the arguments against it. I've gone off it myself in recent years and blame it for many of the anxiety issues I had throughout my 20s. And I'm disgusted that I was not more medically informed and that I was put on it at age 13 for another medical condition. There are ways to have that discussion that is informative to women, that is educational, that is empowering, and that actually turns them against the government, right? That helps them understand these connection points and the problems with government and big government overreach. That's not how it's being done. It's being done in a way where you're shaming women for being on birth control. You're saying they shouldn't have access to it, which is a bridge too far. I don't think that's true. It can be
We don't
used for
take
some
that
medical
position.
conditions.
I mean, we're not
Yeah,
Catholic. We're
but
not
some people have.
Catholics. Some people have,
But some and
yeah, and I
Charlie
don't,
basically was.
I'm not defending the excesses of the right, but I'm not a Catholic conservative, right? We're Stephanie and I are socially libertarians, and we think that people, women should be allowed to vote, and that people should be able to make their own decisions about their careers and their lives and their families. But it seems as we're talking about social shame here. I mean, it seems in some way that, like, you're kind of speaking out both sides of your mouth, because you're kind of shaming men for their preferences of being attracted to younger women. And I mean, like, in some sense, it's maybe I'm being a hypocrite there too, because I'm saying, don't shame me for my preferences. But I mean, here's why I'm thinking about this. Here, I know you have Pearl muted, so you weren't able to see this, but she was saying you were evil. This is what she said: women trying to frame men liking younger but of age women as pedophilia. This was your tweet, Hannah, and I'm confused by it. I just want you to help explain it to us. This was in January of 2023. You said, there's nothing predatory or underdeveloped about wanting a man to be taller than you. It's just a societal conditioning, and because women want to feel smaller than their partner. Okay, fair game. Stephanie feels the same way. She likes that I'm bigger and taller than her.
Mhm.
But
And I think there's an evolutionary reason why.
I do too.
So I'm curious if Hannah, if you believe in evolutionary instincts
Right,
that we have as men and women.
is there an evolutionary psychological reason that you think women tend to be attracted to taller, bigger men, Hannah?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there is an evolutionary reason there, but also there is a societally enforced one for sure that I think has probably taken precedence and why you see that continuing to be such a strong preference amongst women. I mean, even very short women still you will see them go after men who are 6'2", 6'3". As a tall woman myself, I've never understood it. I'm like, why do you need a man to be that much taller than you? Save the really tall men for us tall girls. But that's a whole other tandem. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think there
like
can be some
I've always
evolutionary
felt weird
reasons, but
around really
some of
tall
these
men.
things. Yeah. Some things, though, we age out of because we are no longer in such dire need of men to be physically so much stronger than us. Like it's something that is dissipating or would be dissipating more, I would think, except for the fact that it has been ingrained in people that that is the peak standard. The same way as, blonde women continue to be seen as the most attractive group amongst women because they're seen as a rarity, even though increasingly they are not because so many women dye their hair, but we still see that men are far more attracted to blonde women than other hair colors. So yeah, of course, there's some evolutionary basis for it. I want to kind of go back because the tweet that she apparently quote tweeted is following up from a interview of hers I dissected with Ross Jeffries, where he completely dismantled her. And he seems to not be doing it in an antagonistic way. He says in the interview that he likes Pearl, but he debunks many of her ridiculous claims that she tries to make. And she really walks back a lot of things that she has said. It's a very hilarious interview because she folds very quickly. She looks like an empty suit, which is what she is, and a total grifter. And so I and Jack Hunter made a video discussing that interview. It linked. I assumed that it hit home for her, so that's why she's firing at me. The tweet that she is using is an old tweet in an exchange I had with Zuby. I had no idea why it was recirculating yesterday, so now this makes sense. But basically, it was part of a larger discussion, probably around the time that Pearl was saying things like 16-year-olds are the most attractive. She has said some very creepy, over the line things in this regard. And my point in this is saying that I think that you can say, yes, somebody in their 20s is probably at their like peak of attraction. I was at Universal Studios over the past week with my fiance, and there was a ton of spring breakers there. And I could see 24, 25-year-old men who were objectively attractive. But was I, as a 36-year-old woman, attracted to them? No, that is disgusting. They're like little kids to me. Having a conversation with them would be like talking with my much younger little brother. It would not be developmentally normal for
That's
me to
different.
want
But
to be
Hannah,
with
but
them.
it seems as if you're not really quite acknowledging the differences between men and women.
Correct.
It's not the same thing for a woman to not be attracted to younger men. We're not talking about the Harold and Maude situation where, you know, you have like a younger man dating older women, but we could talk about that later because, you know, society sort of applauds cougars while they demonize men who are attracted to younger women. Here's the part of the
And I
tweet
think
that
that's weird too, to be
okay,
clear.
well,
I think
okay,
that's also weird.
okay, well, that's fine. Well, you're shaming. You're engaging in social shaming. Okay, so we agree on that. You know, shaming is a tactic that
When
we
it's
as
targeted.
libertarians will use. Okay,
Yes.
so here it is. Here's what you say, and you didn't really qualify this. I think in a way that, at least to my satisfaction, makes it that you're not sort of pointing out all men for being pedophiles. Here's what you said. You said men who like or prefer younger women, which is pretty much almost all men, by the way. We all like, it's not every single man. There are like younger men who will date older women and be attracted to them, and that is not the rule. But the rule is that we as men are mostly attracted to younger, more fertile women. That's just indisputable. But here's what you said. You said men who like or prefer younger women, no matter what their own age, do so because they are attracted to little girls and or want someone dumb that they can control. I mean, Steffi's 7 years younger than me. She's not dumb. I don't control her. We have a very like, you know, equal relationship in many ways. We don't do the same things, but I'm not attracted to little girls. You say men who like or prefer, no matter what their own age. I've always preferred younger women. Hannah, I don't understand. Can you explain?
Yeah, and the reason this is sounding odd is because you're taking a tweet that was in reply to a very lengthy thread. So this was an
Sure.
ongoing conversation.
That's what I was
But
thinking.
what I was referring to is a discussion that was happening with Zuby and Pearl amongst much older men liking much younger women around age 18 is what we were discussing. So I don't think it's weird for you to have a 7-year age gap. That's not really that much. We're talking about men who, no matter how old they get, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, they still want to date an 18-year-old girl. That is weird. That is creepy. That to me is saying you were just waiting till the legal line is there. You
It's
don't want
weird.
to date
It's
women
weird on the
your
girl's
own
part too, though,
age.
right? It's the girl.
Yes, yes.
She's also a creep, right?
But Austin, that's why we always, and I don't think this is
But
right, but we always will say those kinds of girls have daddy issues,
right,
right?
but she's a
There's
but
often this like,
so you agree then that she is also a creep because I mean an 18-year-old girl being interested in a 50-year-old man, that's creepy, right? She is also a
it
creep and a
is
pervert.
something that's, I don't know if I would say it's creepy, but I would say that there's something developmentally off there. Like it's not normal to
it
be
just feels like
attracted
there's
to
a
somebody
double
that much older
standard.
than
Yeah,
you.
she's probably looking for someone to fill a void that her father
Because
didn't
Or maybe she just
yeah,
wants
her.
like there
money,
is
or maybe because
something.
all women do. Like maybe she just attracted to a man because he has resources and he's able to provide for her. And because
Success.
evolutionarily, like it's only in the last 200 years that we started demonizing relationships of this age group, right? We have new societal standards for such, but our biology hasn't caught up. But I guess the beef here, Hannah, is you say no matter what their own age, no matter what their own age is, which means
Right,
all
saying
men.
no matter how old they get, they continue to want to return to someone the same. They get older, but their relationships do not. Right? It is the Leonardo DiCaprio who keeps getting older and older, but will not date women over age 25. My point in saying that is to make a qualifier, Austin. I'm not pointing
Okay.
out relationships like yours and Stephanie's. I am pointing out men who repeatedly and over time go back to the same age over and over and over, no matter how old they get. That is very creepy and weird. And you will notice many of the women who do participate in these kinds of things when they're 18, their brains are not fully formed. Your
Should it
your
be
actual vision to make
illegal?
decisions.
Should it be
No, I don't think it should
illegal?
be illegal. I don't want to
Why
take away
not?
people's personal decisions, but I think that social shaming in this circumstance, when you're being pointed and targeted and saying, this is a weird thing, women, when you were this age, be aware of men doing this. Be aware of men who are preying on you at that age and they're in their 50s. Like, this is not normal. This is not a relationship you're going to want once your brain does fully form. You're going to start to recognize some things. I think that that's plenty. I don't want government intervention in people's personal lives, period. But you can still say that things are off or not normal, or that these are things that you would want to avoid as a younger woman. And I think that's exactly the kinds of conversations that we should be having, right? If we want to see the gender wars end, which I actually do, I don't want to have a war with men. I love men in my personal life. I don't think this is good for society. This is one reason I hate Pearl and her messaging, because it's meant to be divisive. It's meant to tear people down. It's not meant to actually find ways that men and women can better relate to each other, which I think is an important discussion, because as we move into this new era of true equality, where we no longer need men financially and men no longer have women who want to just cook and clean for the most part, how then do we come to the table and both bring things to the other party that can be edifying and satisfying and be in true partnership with one another? What are we looking for from one another? What are the kinds of men we should be seeking out?
But we do want women who cook and clean. We are tired of
Some
women.
do.
Yeah, most of us do. Most of us men do. I won't say all of us. There are some men who are very progressive, but the Democratic Party is made up of women and of men who are afraid of women, right? Are there very progressive men out there who don't care and get cucked by their progressive wives? Absolutely. But the problem is, Hannah, is that the modern feminist movement has tried for a very long time to try and to tell us that there are no differences between men and women. And that's where the transgenderism comes in, where there's 150 different flavors of gender. And listen, people can live their own personal lives as they see fit. My views are very open-minded and tolerant when it comes to people's lifestyles. That's how I feel about things. But the reality, the stark cold reality is that what it feels like is happening here, Hannah, is that in this modern context, men are finally wising up to what's happening to them, not just in society where we have been on our back foot for the last 20 or 30 years, but in terms of how government policies adversely affect men and boys. When I discovered that I was going to have a little girl, I felt a weirdly strange sense of relief, because I realized that if I were to have a little girl, no matter what happens in society, she's going to get taken care of. There will be an army of white knights and simps and beta males, and the government will step in because she will be considered a minority, and she will be taken care of from cradle to grave as long as she plays her cards right and doesn't wait until her 30s, 40s, or 50s to try and find some man to latch onto or end up being a cat lady. Totally fine. Choose that life if you want to. I think most people would like to find a good partner. And the problem is that we are told that we don't have to cater to men's needs or wants or desires, or that the problem in society is men and boys. Give the boy Ritalin, tell him to shut up. Everything. The knives are surrounding us. Cancel culture at work, diversity, equity, inclusion, environmental, social governance. Everything is the knife pointed at our throats. And what I see is a lot of women, especially, and it's an online conversation, who are feeling very, very threatened by the fact that men are not only just going their own way and foregoing relationships, not asking women out on dates, not getting into serious relationships with women, but starting to take the power back in the businesses, not going to work at businesses. And here's what I'm seeing in terms of the data, Hannah, because you had said this initial conversation that we were going back and forth is that you fear that women are going to leave, that they're not going to want to be capitalists, they're going to go vote for progressive Democrats. And this is only one data point, and one data point does not a theory make. But I would check out the Wall Street Journal poll from the last week. Biden's hold among women is weakening to about 50% support, down 4 percentage points. This is talking about this poll in the battleground states between Trump and Biden. And it shows this massive shift of men away from the Democratic Party. But it's also showing women going away from the Democratic Party as well. Not as much as men, but the actual data seems to show that women aren't happy with the type of political relationship and relationships that we have right now either. There are a lot of unhappy women out there. I don't know about fixing men, but it just seems as if we even dare have a conversation about how feminism has turned into this toxic, potent political mix with daggers aimed at our little boys and men's lives, that women start getting offended and upset, and we can't offend you or make you angry, or you're going to vote Democrat and bring this whole country down, toppling around our ears, Hannah. So that's big picture kind of how I see this discussion. How would you respond to that?
I think Biden is a very weak candidate, and you cannot take data around Biden holistically. As a whole, we do see data points showing, especially younger women, moving much to the left, and the same is true with young men. I would suggest that's because the rhetoric on the left is very anti-man, and the rhetoric on the right has become very anti-woman. I think that it's not just if you say mean things when we're going to go to the left. I mean, certainly if you have stupid messaging and you target a certain community, over time they will leave. I think you would admit that that's true for the Democratic Party and why men have not been attracted to it. That's going to be true on the reverse. Specifically, what I was talking about, though, are arguments around birth control, like Charlie Kirk was making,
Mhm.
insinuating that women should not be allowed to be on it. When you have a party that has already gotten roiled over the abortion issue, and then you also see their leaders, right? Charlie's seen as a leader of the right, out here saying women also should not have birth control, those kinds of messages will push women to the left. It's very stupid. It's very short sighted. He says stuff for clicks, but it has long lasting impacts. And I'm tired of grifters in our movement who just care about making money off clicks, continuing to get the visibility and get platformed without the consideration of what that does long term. I do not want to end up in a socialist country. I hate the economics of the left. But if we do not have a strong right wing party to fight that, that is going to increasingly happen. And that is so short sighted because nothing else matters. If we no longer have a capitalist country, none of these other discussions are even worth having because with that goes actual individual autonomy. With that, you get very big government. With that, you get fewer economic options. With that, your daughter is more likely to end up in sex work because she won't have so many options for other kinds of work. So it is vital that people stop empowering these dumb messengers and find better messengers who can talk about these things in a way
I
that's
agree.
attractive. There are men
I
and
don't
women who have been
disagree, but
talking.
they're not sending their best, right? Whether it's left or right,
No.
it seems like the cream does not rise to the top in the media, and it's the most outrageous that goes out there. I asked my friend Camelia this question the other day. I'll be curious to see how you would feel about this one. In terms of like, relationships with men, would you rather have equality or would you rather have chivalry if you had to choose?
Hmm. I think chivalry is a very important thing. I agree with you that men and women are different. I think having those niceties in the context of a relationship are great. My boyfriend, my fiance, I'm still getting used to that word, is very chivalrous. I also, because I adore him, have no problem doing things to help him out as well, right? Like I don't mind. I love cooking for him. But it's because it's not mandated. I think without the premise of equality, those things over time will probably dissipate and you will start to resent one another. I think having relationships built on equality that are really healthy, those other things flow out of them naturally. You want to take care of your partner, you want to serve them, you want to
What it
make
feels
their
like
life
though,
better.
I completely understand where you're coming from on that, Hannah. Everybody wants to have their cake and eat it too. The problem just seems to me to be that we live in a world where we still have the morals and ethics of the Titanic, right? Where it's women and children first, right? Where women they talk a big game about equality, but at the end of the day, there are no conservative women in divorce courts. There are no conservative women in house fires. Excuse me, there are no feminists in house fires, and there are no feminists on the Titanic. At the end of the day, no matter how you feel about war, who's going to fight and die if we have to go to war? It's going to be men. Not to say that women can't serve, but it's going to be men who have to place their life on the line. The question at the end of the day is can we possibly truly have equality? I don't think we can. I think it's a false god. I think we've been sold a bill of goods about, and that we're continually being sold this bill of goods about equality and femininity and masculinity, which is not to deny that people can't have relationships amongst an entire spectrum and live and let live as you see fit. But it's a lie that men and women are equal. And it feels to me, and I think what Pearl is pointing out, which is why I enjoy her and I appreciate her. Do I think that she says ridiculous things that I disagree with? Sure, just like Charlie Kirk. I see her as more of a performance artist than a thought leader. But what she seems to be pointing out here is that even conservative women who call themselves traditional conservative women, when it comes down to the end of the day, if they're going to divorce court, they're still going to bilk their husbands for everything. They don't want to actually do anything to change the system as it is, which heavily favors women in divorce courts, heavily favors women when it comes to alimony, heavily favors women when it comes to child support, right? They don't want to actually change that system because they want the benefits of equality, they want the jobs, they want the high-powered jobs, they want to have all of the power, and they want us to be equal. But when the Titanic goes down, you're all tying your hair up into bows and saying, "I'm just a girl, let me get on the lifeboat." I mean, is this ridiculous what I'm suggesting here?
I think the goal should be equality under the law, and we've had that for some time. And that's where the end of the actual government interference in these matters should begin and end, right? That's established. That's how it should be. What we do with that as a society now is up to an individual level. You can decide what you want to premise your relationship on, and it can look vastly different than what somebody else does, and that's great. I do think having this like equality in the true sense of the word, right, which you're trying to touch on here, which is more societally driven, is false. That's not really capable. That's more of like a socialist kind of intentionality that they want everybody to be totally equal at all times. That's not possible. People are different. People have different skill levels. People have different work ethics. They have, different things they bring to the table. I think the goal should be that we are complementary to one another and that we, again, find a way where men and women can both be bringing things to the table in this era where we are both equal under the law, where we both can work, we both can make money that works for people. And that's a negotiation people need to get better at having in their own relationships because it's not a one size fits all. And that's not something we should be striving for whatsoever. I've made a video digging into some of the issues in the court system. My fiance is divorced, so I learned a lot when we first started dating about some of the things he went through, and I was very, upset about that. I've spoken out about this a good deal. I do think there is still maybe some work when it comes to that equality under the law that needs to happen when it pertains to the court system. I will say that people like Pearl do tend to over exaggerate some of those issues based on the data I saw. Women do not just clean up, they don't even get alimony most of the time. Something like 47% of child payments are never even made. So women are actually far more likely to end up in poverty after divorce than men are. But that being said, the system needs some work. I don't think that it is set up in a fair and equal way. I think there needs to be a lot more evaluations. It needs to be, I think women should be expected to work once they get divorced, and if they have kids, and maybe you get a 5-year time period to bring your income up. I mean, there's all kinds of things we could do to tweak this where it would be more fair in that regard. But again, I think most of the conversations we're
Hannah,
having are not about the law; they're about society.
But yes, to an extent. Hannah, will you? We're coming towards the end of our conversation here, and I want to give Stephanie an opportunity. But real quick, will you take your husband's last name?
Yes, probably
Wha-
not publicly since I have a known name. I mean, that would be a little
That's
difficult
what
to
I was
transition.
wondering.
But yeah, why?
Why?
Why is that funny?
Oh, because Pearly Things was saying that successful women don't tend to take their husband's last name because they care more about their success than their husband. And so by keeping your name, it shows where your values are.
That's what Pearl says.
Right.
Right.
That's what
So
she's saying.
say,
So that's why we're asking that
but
question.
so professional, you're going to keep your professional name, but you will change your last name to his.
Yes. Yeah, I
Why?
think that's just, I mean, that's part of having a cohesive family. That's part of belonging together. I think it's beautiful.
A little success and a little love.
Hannah, is the prospect of marriage is the feminism starting to leave your body just a little bit? Be honest.
No, I mean, I think feminism is fighting for the equality of the sexes under the law, and I will always believe in that. So
Okay.
I'm not a third wave feminist. I've never been that far out on these issues. I think I'm exactly where I've always been. So I don't think so. I think I've always had personally kind of traditional views.
You've been a good sport here, Hannah. Stephanie, did you want to ask her anything or bring up any conversation before we go?
Oh, I mean, I was just going to ask, when you're in these female circles, do you find that they do lie to each other? Because when I was talking about being in your prime yesterday, all of these women are just in denial that basically their fertility rates go down after they're 30, and they're like, no, I'm still healthy after 30. What are you talking about? So it's like, in these female circles, are they lying to each other? Like, why are women so much in denial about these facts?
I don't personally find that to be true. And I think the opposite's true. Now, I don't want kids. I've always said that since I was very young. I have not had that same timeline pressure on me because of that. But most of my friends do want to have kids. And so I've actually heard the opposite, where there is a lot of natural fear. There is a lot of timeline based dating, really feeling pressure to find a partner by a certain time so that they can have kids, so that they can have the amount of kids that they want to have. And I don't find that true offline. I think what you're seeing online is that the discourse has gotten so mean towards women and saying you hit a wall, you're no good after 30, women are attractive
Right.
after 30. And I think that's so ridiculous, right? You got married in your 30s. I'm getting married in my now mid to late 30s.
Yeah, I'm
There's plenty of
36
men
and
who
I'm
are,
pregnant. So
yeah,
my
and you can
eggs
still
are
get
definitely
pregnant.
not at their healthiest.
Right. So your likelihood goes down. I don't think most women are so uneducated as to think that they don't have less of a chance in their 30s as they were in their 20s. That's why freezing your eggs is such a big market. But I think there is a lot of defensiveness now because the discourse has gotten to such a fever pitch where they're not really willing to give an inch. Of course, most people know yes, you are at your like peak in your health as in your 20s for both men and women. That's true. But the conversation, I think, if the goal is to get women to have kids and have families, again, the conversation needs to go back to what I've been saying throughout this entire discussion, which is how do men and women end up in a place where they're equal partners and wanting one another? Because I promise you, there's not all these women running around in their 20s just being like, I don't want to get married yet. Most women want to get married. They're not getting proposed to. They're not finding men who actually want to get serious and settle down. They're dealing with men who are commitment phobes, who want to sleep around for all their 20s. There are a lot of mismatchments happening. And so if we want that to be the goal, the conversation needs to start there versus saying, women, why are you in your 30s not having kids? Because that's a sore spot for a lot of them who very much want to be in that position and haven't been able to obtain it. So it feels very mean spirited to attack it.
It does. It does. Here's the thing about that, and obviously, I don't think you should be bullying women like that. I think what is happening is that there seems to be a sharks and jets kind of a situation happening culturally, where for a long time the only gang on the street were the sharks, right? And they were out there, and it was we long dominated by feminists, where man hating was the norm, and saying horrible, evil, awful things about stupid white men. Look at any commercial. Look at any Hollywood movie or television show that you see today, and people of my race and ethnicity and age are painted as stupid men. We have to put up with it every day, the hatred of my race and of my age, being a white man of a certain age, Hannah. And I think what's happening is that now the Jets have arrived on the scene, right? The far right has emerged and is now sort of like, what I see it as is a bit of a performance art where two gangs are going out on the street going to war with one another, where we were dominated by one gang, which was the pink-haired feminists, wearing the pussy hats and telling everybody how it's going to be in girl bossing, etc. And now you've got a reaction movement to the excesses of leftist feminism, which to me, Pearl is a performance artist, again, not a thought leader, but these conversations are fascinating. Hannah, you've been such a good sport. We want to give you full credit. And, we're friends. We agree on so much. Some of these things I think we can't solve in a 30-minute discussion. Maybe we need to do like a longer cultural podcast. Maybe you and Steffi should do one alone, like as like, just
Girl to girl.
girl to girl. That would be good. Thanks so much for getting up early and joining us. Congratulations on your engagement. Is there anything you'd like to share or maybe plug to our audience before we let you go?
Yeah, well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me. I like the discussion. I think it's, I want more of this. We can even disagree on things, but this temperament is what I would like to see these issues discussed with. And I want it to be discussed with some seriousness and some actual goal orientation of outcomes. If people want to check out, I have a new show on YouTube called Histrionics, where I'm dealing with a lot of these issues on women's stuff. Steph, it'd be great to have you on sometime. And I'm digging into some of the most common talking points that we're hearing and really trying to kind of give it more of a centrist point of view. I think the far left, we're at a point where they can't even define women, much less really speak about women's issues. And then the far right, we're seeing a lot of this very anti-woman discourse. I firmly think most people are where I'm at, which is that we love women, we love men, we want them to better get along. Let's dig through the issues. So if people want to check that out, it's on the Hannah Cox YouTube.
Hannah Cox YouTube. Hey, Hannah, thanks so much for being so generous with your time. Great conversations. Keep up the work. We love watching your videos. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, that was Hannah Cox. Good stuff, huh?
Yeah, I really think all of this stuff online is just taken out of context. It just seems to me that we're misunderstanding each other because
talking past each other
can only be so long, and so we're really not getting the whole picture here.
That's why I brought Hannah on, because I wanted to understand like the context. I wanted to understand the context of what Hannah was saying in that tweet that we brought up. I wanted to know like what she meant by what she had said there.
Right. And she seems completely logical when you actually talk to her and she says all of the details of what she's thinking. And I feel like a lot of these people online, if we just got them and sat them down in a chair and they explain themselves, it probably would sound more logical than it does online.
Perhaps. I mean, Hannah is really good at explaining herself and making her point. That's why I've got such great respect for her, and I'm glad that she comes on and joins us.
Yeah. So basically, she's saying rather than lie to people, you have to give them a message with a pretty bow on it. It's all about messaging. Like, look at the Libertarian Party. Their messaging sucks. That's why it's not very popular anymore. So they have to make their messaging look pretty.
Yes.
So that people open the package.
I just sent Justin the invite to be on the show. Give us a 1 minute little break. We're not going to go to a full commercial break. We're just going to do a little 1 minute standby screen so we can go get Justin and we'll have him react to the conversation that we just had. talk more about that. And we're going to talk about diversity, equity, inclusion standards when we get back with the Wake Up America show. I Wake Up America show. Good morning, rise and freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. Welcome to the Wake Up America show, the Wicked Witch of the West. Joining us live on set, my lovely wife, Stephanie Peterson. Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Oh, I'm always a good witch. Hazel's moving around today.
Is she kicking around? She's got something to say.
Feeling empowered.
Yeah, she's like, I have something to say about these women.
I'm in my prime.
Welcome to the show.
She's in her prime.
Yes, she is. Stephanie Peterson joining us live on set. My smoking hot redheaded libertarian wifey. She's pregnant. She's with child.
Yes, I'm 23 weeks pregnant, soon to be 24 on Monday. It's just going by very, very fast.
It is. We'll be parents before we know it. Can't wait to see her.
That's right.
Yes, we're very excited. Baby room all set up and hustling and homemaking. New show has started and everything. So
that's right. I have a new episode that'll be coming out on Monday, and it's about how to make chores more fun and easy.
Great. So now we're going to speak to ton oncle.
Yes, the uncle. Ouais.
Ton oncle.
J'aime mon oncle.
Mon oncle? Oncle? If I was speaking to Hazel, it would be
frère-in-law.
La frère-in-law. Oh,
say brother-in-law.
Mon frère, Justin Peterson, the uncle, joining us live right now on air. Hey, JP.
How's it going? Good morning. Happy Friday.
All right, Justin. Is modern feminism like the best reason ever to be gay?
What is the gay community saying about all this drama? Like, do gay men care if you're in your prime or if you're younger or older?
Well, okay, so like I don't, obviously, well, feminism is. I think I told a bunch of friends the other day. I said any social movement that has always begun in liberalism, which is the desire for equality and the promise of what our forefathers laid down, it always gets co-opted by communists. It always gets co-opted by every single social justice movement in our entire nation's history has always been co-opted by communism. Eventually at some point. So, I mean, I don't, battle of the sexes. I mean, like, y'all have fun.
But weren't the in ancient Greece, I think you told me this, weren't like the earliest Greek homosexuals misogynists? Isn't that what
that's where the term kind of comes from? I mean, the term misogyny is actually not straight dudes that just don't like women. It was the gay dudes, because they needed a name for men. They were woman haters, or they didn't like women. So
men didn't look at women as equals. They saw them as inferior men.
Well, yeah, but like they didn't want. I mean, obviously they didn't want to be around them. But then, obviously with the age thing, we shouldn't talk, because those were older men also hanging out with boys. So that wasn't exactly a shining moment
back in history, being with young people, men and women, was normal.
Yeah, that goes all the way back to ancient Greece.
It's PG-13, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching the Wake Up America show,
we can't deny evolution. We can't deny history.
Matt Unruh dropped $5 in the tip jar. Says current wave feminism is cringe.
Oh, it's really bad.
Well, because everybody needs to still raise those rants. $50 for our doc.
If you want to see the mini documentary today.
Just kidding, I won't.
But Justin, we've been having this conversation, and Hannah and I were kind of going back and forth on it. I don't know that she necessarily addressed my point here, where I was talking about the fact that it seems as if what the modern feminist movement would like to do is to allow women to have their cake and eat it too. Wouldn't we all love to have our cake and eat it too? And my argument simply is that in some sense, we're sort of operating on the morality of the Titanic. When things get shitty, right? The men are still, their bodies are still thrown on the fire, right? The joke is there are no feminists in house fires, right? At the end of the day, that if there's a war, or if there needs to be some heavy lifting done, or if you look at workplace casualty rates, if you look at who gets shot, murdered, stabbed on the job, it's men. She was talking about more women are taking these jobs in the workplace and blah, blah, blah. Women aren't going for the oil rigger jobs, right? There's a reason. It's because there's a difference between the sexes.
But they are building airplanes.
Apparently, and now their doors are falling off.
No, I think it's a conflict of visions. That's Thomas Sowell's book title, But it's like this idea that there's people that are looking at reality in completely two different ways. When I would be on the subway in New York or in Boston, and I'd get a seat on the bus or on the subway, and then I mean, not a pregnant woman, okay, because that's just obviously there's a line for me. There's a line, but like if a gal comes on like gal dressed in a business suit or something, and she'd get on the train or the bus, I'm like, I got here first. Because I would just be like, but that's the conflict of those two cultures. Because one culture in my mind would say, the one I was raised in would say, Justin, get up and give that lady your seat,
That's
and then the
chivalry.
other culture, and then the other brain would say, bitch, this is equality. You can suck it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes. Ilda the Hun, who's first time I've seen her, joined us, says, chat's cracking me up. Thanks for the good laugh. Good show, Austin.
Great.
Plus, enjoy mommyhood. Yes, Stephanie, thank you.
Thank you.
$40 more to raise, and we will unlock today's mini documentary. Yes. So, Justin, the question is, when I had this conservative young man on the show, we were talking about, because he's very anti-LGBT everything, right? He thinks that, so my question to him was, how do we re-marginalize the homosexuals, right? Because
how do we?
How do we put you back in the closet? Like the cat is out of the bag, right? And alternatively, when it comes to men and women, women are in the workplace, right? They've got jobs. They're in the universities, right? But now they want to have it all, right? They want to have that, and they want to freeze their eggs and have them when they're 40, right? And they want to have it just seems like they want to have all of the benefits of manhood with none of the associated responsibilities of manhood. And I'm not for the draft or anything like that, but at the end of the day, their lives are not forfeit. They've been granted a right, which is a right to vote, without the responsibility that comes along with it. When you and I, at 18 years old, were required to register for the Selective Service, the penalty for not doing so is the potential loss of our voting rights and a $250,000 fine if we aren't willing to put our life on the line. For that, we get the right to vote.
That doesn't sound right.
That responsibility, the accordant responsibility, is that we fight and defend the nation state of which we are participating in. I'm not saying that women should be drafted. I don't think anybody should be drafted. I think that we should abolish the Selective Service. That's my opinion. But how do we square these circles here, right? Because it just seems as if we're, Thomas Sowell had this famous quote. He says that when people get used to preferential treatment, being treated equal feels like discrimination. Do you agree?
Well, I do, because it's also happening in the LGBT community. You can see this exact same thing. It's like, it wasn't enough to just get it. Like I shared that video with you of that lesbian who was basically saying, if I'd known how all this was going to go down, I never would have fought for equality in the first place. Which was, I was like, damn, that's really intense. I mean, you're asking me to solve a social problem like by myself. I can't do it. But
yeah, I mean, these issues are just so complex.
Right. It's really hard. And I would say, obviously, I think it does come out in dating, right? This stuff is affected in the dating community. But I think we all have computer brain, which doesn't help, right? I mean, computer brain is like the lowest level of thinking, and people can't get to higher levels of thinking.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started dating Austin, I was all about the equality. I'm like, let's go Dutch on all meals, all costs, cooking, everything. But then when we actually got into our marriage, it's like, I like doing the traditional roles. They're actually easier for me than working a 40-hour work week.
Yeah, I mean,
I enjoy
you would not
it.
listen. Like, there was this documentary we watched of this woman and she was a lesbian, but she transitioned to a man to write this book. She ended up committing suicide in the end. But what she found out was,
that's so sad.
What she found out was that she thought that being a man was going to be easier. She thought that she was going to really enjoy life. And we're hearing from a lot of these people, these women who have transitioned to men, how lonely it is being a man. That it's not all it's cracked up to be. No. That there is no one to come and save you. There are no white knights.
Well, it's not only that. It's just how men regulate and deal with emotions is something that I think a lot of these women who transition over find out. Because they're like, wow, dudes really are on lockdown with their emotions. They really don't express their emotions. They don't feel things. They shut themselves down. And that's what makes a lot of these trans men really like emotional, because they're like, I never knew it was going to be like this on the other side. I'm like, yeah, like, welcome to our, welcome to the party. I think I was lost my train of thought, but it's the idea that men Yeah, yeah. That's why that trans whole thing. That's a whole other argument right there. It's like I could go off on that one, but
Go
that's
off.
no. I just think that the misunderstandings of things. And the other thing I'm going to say is this. Now, here's where I'm going to come to women's defense. Okay, so here's where I'm going to come to the
Oh,
defense of women.
you don't have to
Let's hear
defend
it.
us. It's
Let's
okay.
go ahead. White knight.
Nobody
Simp.
wants to marry a baby. No woman wants to marry a child. And I feel like so many dudes like get in, they have their mommies take care of them for their whole lives. And then like they come out into the real world and they are not equipped to be in a domestic situation. They don't know how to wash a dish. They don't know how to clean a shower. They don't know how to do jack bubkas.
But do they need to if they have a traditional housewife?
Yes, I don't know
Well,
what that means.
well,
I don't
here's
know
the
what
thing,
that
Steffi.
means.
Here's the thing. I had to teach Steffi how to cook. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
my mom,
She
she
didn't.
cooked very basic things. We got carry out all the time.
Right.
So I never
Sure.
learned how to cook.
Delaying marriage, right, and not having a woman in my life made it so that over the years I had to learn all of the domestic tasks and tools that were necessary.
Sure.
When I was great at keeping my house clean, not the best.
Whereas
Right?
cleaning is my strength,
Cleaning is
luckily.
so we do
Sure,
things.
but I think if you go into it like straight or gay, if you go into someone's house and you see their house and you walk in and you go, "Wow, if I am with this person, this is who this person is." I mean, that's I would turn tail and run because I would be like, I don't want to be with someone who can't take care of themselves. Because that is ultimately at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's like this person cannot even take care of their own space and their own self. And if I am in a relationship with them, I'm not going to be in an equal partnership. I'm going to be the maid, and I'm not going to come in and be the maid for this person.
So you don't want to be a house man, a house husband?
No, I mean, like, I mean, first of all, I do enjoy cleaning because Formula 407 can freaking get it. I'm obsessed with lemon scented 407. Like, I love it. I spray it on everything. No, but like, I enjoy domestic sort of things. But, I think about my grandma Hazel, thank you, who raised our Uncle Bobby to know how to do things like iron a shirt, sew on a button, take care of himself so that when he was out in the real world, he could be self-sufficient. I mean, self-sufficiency is attractive to me. I think it's also attractive to men or women.
Yeah.
To be self-sufficient.
Yeah, I mean, as a traditional housewife who also works, it's like sometimes I do need Austin's help. And it is a turn on for me to see him stepping in and just helping me, even just do some dishes on a certain night.
I'm just going to say this.
It is nice, but I don't want him to be equal in that he does all of the household chores.
No.
Equally to me.
No. But there's also that idea of the love language of acts of service that people talk about. Like, it is one of the aspects of love that you show to someone is acts of service. So, and maybe that, and there's 5 different love languages that they've, talk about in I don't know who came up with that idea, but acts of service is one of those things. So, when someone cleans something, it's like, oh, wow, that shows me that you love me, or that shows me that you care about me. I think that it's there. I always bristle against like guys who just sort of like some men who are so taken care of by their mothers, right? That they come out into the real world and they are unable to completely but that's the mom's fault, right? That's a smothering mother, right? Who doesn't say to her kid, hey, like you and I, Austin, we had to sweep on Saturdays, Yeah,
we had to lemon pledge the furniture.
Yeah, Austin would lemon pledge and I would sweep, and those would be our responsibilities. And it wasn't negotiable. Mom wasn't going to be like, well, I'll just, because, we lived in a bigger house and all of that responsibility on mom's shoulders, that's not fair. That's not fair, in that house, in that big of a house. So but equality, I'm like, and I think every couple has to negotiate that for themselves, honestly, at the end of the day. That is a negotiation that occurs in that couple.
Right. And like, what is a traditional wife in some sense? Like, go look at like Hungary or Romania. A traditional wife has to raise a chicken, slaughter it, gut it, like drain it, make soup out of the bones. Right. That's what's considered true. Right? And we're not going that far in modern society. So
no, but I'm going to interrupt you.
Yeah,
I'm going to interrupt you. But think about this. In the 1950s, in this sort of era of Tradwife, women didn't even have access to money. All money that came to those women came through their husbands. Women didn't have a checking account. All of that was done with the husband. I mean, the husband would obviously say to the wife, here's the expenses for this, that, and the other. But God forbid if something came up and the husband died, the woman would have no idea of what to do in that relationship when her husband died, because
I'm
she
going
had
to
no
interrupt you.
idea
I'm
about
going to
money.
interrupt you. I'm going to add an important caveat on top of that. If
Yeah.
you were a single woman, for example, if your husband died, you could have a checking account, you could have a
Right.
bank account.
Right.
But if you got married, that was the ownership of your husband.
That's right.
But the reason why, and this is a little known thing that I just was reading about recently, the reason why that happened is because if you got sued, if you're let's say you're a single mother who, her husband died, just kind of like our grandma Hazel, right? That she had to leave him and all that, and she had to be single. If she had a business, that business would be transferred over to her husband and put in her husband's name and the associated checking accounts, because if they got sued, if that business got sued, it was the man who was on the hook. All of the legal and financial responsibility fell on the man's shoulders.
Mm.
If they got sued, or if there was some workers' comp, or if there was any kind of an issue, it was always the man's fault. So the burden of responsibility for the negative consequences, it wasn't as if men just, I'm gonna get this wife now, look at me, right? It's not like there's a dowry, as if it's like all of a sudden it's like, wow, what a windfall. This isn't like the Victorian era where you married a duchess and you got to inherit her lands and estates, and what a lovely marriage of convenience it is. Like, there were associated responsibilities, that legal responsibilities that were placed on men's shoulders, that women did not have to bear that burden. Again, they wanted now women they also have to bear the burdens of those responsibilities, along with those rights and legal privileges as well. I just wanted to add on
Right.
addendum
And
to that.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm done.
But back in the day, the women still got the kids, right?
Yeah.
Well, I
What were you
mean,
gonna say?
yeah, but like imagine having to go to your husband all the time to say, honey, can I get a new pair of shoes? Honey, can I buy this? Honey, can I buy that? Honey, can I do
Sounds
this?
Oh
great.
yeah, and in our relationship, that's why I'm like a very modern, progressive trad wife,
Yeah,
with a career.
But also,
I
if financial
like
disaster would happen in
be
those marriages,
independent.
or if the husband would divorce the woman, she was just out left with nothing. And not only she had no financial literacy, she had zero understanding, because she's like, I don't know who handles the books. I don't know how much money is in the bank. I don't know how much is going on. Like, all of that was handled by one person. And I'm like, that's not equality to me. That's not equality.
And that's why they came up with the concept of alimony and child support and all these different things.
Which
but
has also gone off the rails, by the way.
which it has. And interest.
I liked what Hannah was saying, that you can give these divorced women like 5 years to get back on their feet, get a career, start working again. I like that idea, because a lot of divorced women, they just try to maintain that housewife lifestyle with their alimony, and it's not going to work long term. You got to start working and providing for yourself eventually.
Yeah. One of the conversations we were having yesterday, this is pretty controversial, was the question of like an abortion, because we were talking about these influencers online who they had their conversation was recorded. He was trying to pressure her to have an abortion. She didn't want to have an abortion, yada, yada, yada. But in a scenario, a situation where, and Dave Chappelle even like had some comedy about this, where he talked about, if a woman has a right to have an abortion, I would say a right, that has the power to have an abortion, or where abortion is legal, should a man have the right or the power to have a financial abortion? Meaning that where women have the power and can go and terminate a pregnancy at any time, why should a man then also have the accordant responsibility of being required to take care of the child if she has the ability to terminate the child? Why can't the man terminate his responsibilities to take care of the child? Because then there would be some sense of true equality. Now, in a situation where an abortion is illegal, you can't get an abortion. Then in that situation, it makes sense. The father of the child should be required to take care of it. But if a woman can terminate a pregnancy, why can't a man have the right to terminate a financial obligation?
I mean, if we're talking about a frame of equality, true equality would say that would be the case. That you could say, well, I don't want this child, so I don't want to pay for it.
This messes with my morals. It's like, even if the law says, okay, you can get an abortion, like if that father doesn't agree with the abortion and thinks it's murder, or the mother thinks it's murder, it's just,
let's consider
it's murder. And
right.
care if it's legal or not.
But let's consider total anarchy, okay? Civilization. Let's consider that there are no laws, okay?
Right.
It's every man and woman for himself. women choose to get in a relationship with a man. Underneath that scenario, the expected outcome would be that lots of men would leave their women if they didn't want to have their child, they didn't want to raise the baby, they would just leave, and certainly that has happened, but only under the civilizational, theory of the time, the 1940s and 50s. Dad, when I was a kid, used to say, Austin, use birth control. It's not like it was when I was growing up. It used to be if you got a woman pregnant, you could just walk out. You could just abandon her, and it didn't matter. You didn't have to take care of the baby. There was no child court that was going to come
There
after you.
wasn't a long
They
time
didn't come
ago,
after you. They weren't going to come after you. Now they do, right? But in a situation where there is no divorce court or alimony or child support or a situation of support, in a total anarchist situation, wouldn't the incentive then be for a woman to say, I better not sleep with that deadbeat. I better not sleep with that loser. I better not have a child with him, because if I do, there's nothing to protect me. There's nothing to ensure. Would that incentive then suddenly be for women to go, I'm going to be chaste until I'm in a relationship or a marriage, rather than the situation we have now, which incentivizes women to have children out of wedlock, as many as possible, and to run them up onto the welfare system. And then if they happen to find a man that they can bilk for cash to the end of their careers, we have the situation we have right now. So, I mean, how do we possibly create the incentives that make it so that when women, because women have 100% control over the reproductive process, other than in the case of rape, which we're not talking about here. But for the most part, women still 100%, if they wanted to have the abortion, and even in that situation, they could, right? So in that scenario, how do we incentivize women to stop sleeping with these deadbeat guys that are going to run out on them, right? What are the proper incentives? We may not have an answer for that, but I think it's an interesting question for us all to ponder, isn't it?
Good parents.
Yes. Good parents, like our parents who stuck around, right?
Who would just smack you up, and be like, knock that off, or put the fear of God in you. That's why I'm like, yeah, it's like maybe STDs are a good idea.
Yeah,
it's like
well,
maybe
we were
that's
talking about
nature's
social
way
shaming.
of slowing it all down and saying y'all just need to chill.
Well, we were talking. So Hannah and I were talking about social shaming earlier.
Yeah.
And we, because she was kind of like, she's like, I don't like that men are shaming women for their behavior in such and such situation, and shaming them for not getting married in their 30s. And I'm like, but you're shaming men for their preferences, and then you don't like to be shamed for yours.
I gotta tell you though, in the mental health world, sometimes people just have to hear the blunt truth and be shamed, and that's what makes them change. That's what motivates them. Because then they're like, okay, you know what? I'm just so embarrassed that I just need to fix this.
But therein again is that idea of differences of the sexes, because it reminds me of that meme of the girl. It's like two panels, right? The top panel is the girl talking to her friends, and the bottom or a friend, and the bottom panel is a guy talking to his friend. It's like a Chad meme, and whatever. And the top meme is the girl says to the other girl, "Do you think I'm fat?" And the other girl says, "Oh my God, no, girl, you are gorgeous, you're beautiful." And then the bottom panel is, "Bro, do you think I'm fat?" And the other guy says, "Bro." He's like, "I know 5 fat people and you're 4 of them." Like, it's that women and men are wired in a different way for like bluntness, and like, we're just going to say, yeah, you're fat, whereas women are going to be like, no, don't, no, you're beautiful. You're a queen. Slay, girl, slay.
I was experiencing that on Twitter yesterday when I was talking about being in your prime. And I was like, I'm not in my prime. It's okay. And these women were just like, you're beautiful. Yes, you are.
Right.
And even the men were coming out. And they were like, I'm in my, they were even saying, I'm in my prime, even if I'm in my 40s, So men and women are both very sensitive about this.
Well, I'm going to give you a very deep psychological insight on that.
Uh-huh.
All you're triggering is the fear of death. That's it. You're hitting fear of death, that we are all going to die. And when people are reminded that they are inching to death, that stokes a lot of fear in people. And so I think there's a subliminal, subconscious, unconscious reaction to hearing stuff like that, because it hits the unspoken part of ourselves that realizes and recognizes that we are creatures of finite length on this earth, and we are going to die. And it scares people.
I mean, death is probably the scariest thing to me, but it's like you have to come to a point of acceptance.
Yeah.
Which is the hardest thing.
Being told that, you're past your prime is basically saying your life is over. I mean, that's really what people hear. It's like, there's nothing left for you. Your life is over. If you're done.
That's why
And
we're looking for all of these remedies for anti-aging. You know, like what Elon Musk is taking those pills, or if he's even taking those pills.
Injecting themselves with the blood of a younger man.
yeah.
Right.
Well, listen,
Because we're
I'll
all
get to a
trying to
point.
avoid death.
I'm treading the boards close to the big five, and I'll tell you right now, if I want to take some human growth hormone and take some of that stuff, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take it because if it gives me energy, if it increases the quality of my life, and it makes me look better, have some lean muscle mass, hey, I'm all about it. Because there's them young kids that are like, sugar daddies, sugar daddies.
How dare you? You're attracted to much younger men. Boo, boo.
No, but I'll
Your
tell you this,
preferences
but
are not valid. Boo.
But I'm gonna give you this. The woodwork has been people coming out, 20, 21-year-olds. They are predatory, my friend.
They're the predators. The
They
young men are the
predators.
Wow.
Those young people are the ones that are predating on the older. Do not get it twisted that there's some old person who's sitting there and being like, oh, I'm going to go after the girls, the young girls. There is predation in both sexes to go after older people. There is. I've experienced it
Hannah was trying to tell me, because she's saying, oh, these older men with these younger women are predatory. These young, nubile 18 and 19-year-olds, how dare you be attracted to them and their tight little butts and their nice, firm, perky tits. How dare you? It's terrible. It's awful. You shouldn't be attracted to such. Oh, but look at the cougar. Oh, she gets those younger guys. Rawr, she's in her prime, 40 years old, going for the 20-year-old man. You go, girl boss. Get those younger men. Ooh, he's a creep. He's a pervert. How dare he be attracted to those young, tight bodies? It's just wrong. It's wrong.
So this is kind of controversial, but that's how I see some of these school teacher situations. I mean, when I was in school, I remember kids flirting with the teachers openly, and the kids were the ones putting it on the teacher, making comments about the beauty of like our female teacher I'm picturing actually in chemistry class, and like they were hitting on her. I know they're kids, but
I have worked in
forceful.
academia. I have worked in academia, higher education, and I have been propositioned by two of my students.
Mm-hmm. Were they children?
They were in their, no, they were like, 19, 18, somewhere around there, 20.
Yeah.
But they absolutely pursued me. I did not pursue them at all. And these were young college kids. And I was like, wow, it really actually upset me in a deep sense because I was like, it made me see the world from a different perspective because I realized that in what the situations you're describing, it's sometimes obviously the older person has the responsibility because we're older and we're wiser and we should know better, clearly.
Sure.
But there are situations where older people are predated upon by younger people. It's just, it's real because it happened to me. It happened to me twice, 2 times.
Oh, I believe it.
In 2 different situations with young students who came after me.
Young predators. Boy, this sounds like a really hot, like Showtime Skinamax flick.
Absolutely. Especially kids
to catch a young predator.
Especially kids who've endured abuse, sexual abuse, from an older person when they were younger. I mean, they definitely like to attention seek from older individuals I'd say this, because they don't understand boundaries.
Well, not only that, but the pornification of our culture, which tells everyone that your urges are great and it's so great. You've got these. People don't have any reins on their expression of their sexuality. Now, younger people don't have that prefrontal cortex developed yet. So these people are, they're half-brained, right? I mean, these people are literally half-brained. So they don't have impulse control. They don't have any of that stuff. So it's like, that's why the onus is on the older person to be like, yeah, Billy, you need to go back and sit down and take your test and stop, trying to rub your boner on Mr. Smith. Like,
I think we need to pause for just a moment here and reset. Good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm Austin Peterson, and this is my porny family. Lovely Stephanie Peterson joining us live on set.
This rant's coming along.
Not good. I don't know if we're going to make it. It's because the show has been so good and high quality.
I'm sorry, guys.
Today might be the first day where we break the record. Meaning, like, we have an unbroken record of unlocking the bonus content. I know usually
we've never seen a video go away before.
I know. Today might be the first time where the bonus content will actually get deleted and not get seen, because the way the bonus content works on the show is if we raise at least $50 in Rumble rants or somebody makes purchases at apforlibertyshop.com during the show, then the content gets unlocked. But if we don't unlock it by 20 minutes from now, it goes away forever. So if you want to get that bonus content today, I mean, the conversations have been awesome. I think we've earned at least another $40 in donations. Come on.
Oh, I think so.
I mean,
Find something.
This is the meaty stuff.
So what I think you should do right now is, if you're interested in seeing the bonus content and supporting the show, head over to ap4libertyshop.com right now. That's AP, the number 4, ap4libertyshop.com. Buy some delicious Founding Flavors coffee. I'm drinking Thomas's Painkiller this morning. I love Thomas's Painkiller. It's my number 1 favorite. Get yourself a box of coffee while you're there. Maybe a Javier Milei mug, or just, well, we have the,
oh my gosh, we got a whole new line.
Historic Spirits collection, Steph.
Spirits. So we have a whole new line of stained glass Founding Fathers drinkware, and also we have a cutting board. I'm going to be adding more cutting boards of the Founding Fathers in stained glass, and I mean, they're just beautiful. And so if you buy all 4
of the set, like set.
So it doesn't have to be from the same sets. It could be like a wine glass, a whiskey glass. So just 4 items from the collection, you can get $10 off. $20 off now. It actually just changed.
It's actually only for the next 24 hours.
Yes. So if you use code Historic Spirits, you get $20 off if you buy any 4 products in that Historic Spirits collection.
Yeah, so any of the items in the Historic Spirits collection, if you buy any 4, you're going to get $20 off for the next 24 hours. So
yeah. Oh, did someone just give a rant?
Yeah, Mighty Megatron did. Thank you, Mighty Megatron. So we've got $15 towards our $50 goal. George Washington. Drinking is... There's nothing more American than drinking.
Like drunkards. Nothing. I feel like they were true alcoholics.
Oh, have you ever seen the bar tab for George Washington's party after they signed the Constitution?
Yes.
I really wonder if we should trust in them so much, because they were like so drunk when they were writing the Constitution.
Hell yes,
they were. But everything good happens when people drink. The Boston Massacre happened because people came out of the saloons.
Corey and Callie donated $10.
Yeah.
So that's $10, $25. We need just $25 more dollars.
Donated earlier, right?
Yeah, so we've raised $25 so far.
Okay.
So another $25 by the end of the show, and you unlock the bonus content. Justin, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, I was like, we're going to bring the idea about the fact that about the drinking that went on in the colonies at the beginning of the founding of our nation, like. People would be working in furniture factories or different things, and at 2:00, they would tap out and just be like, okay, we're gonna have our beers now, and they would sit in their office, their little stores and things, and get schnockered. So yeah.
And where were the women? Where were they?
Well, they were running the brothels, my darling. They were running all of the, What did you know? I might have said this before. But like, I think in the colonial times, 40% of the taverns in this city of Boston were run by women.
Oh, so they were business owners.
They were business women. Women out there getting their money, and they were making. Who
owned the business? The husband or the wife?
Oh, the women did. They owned those taverns. They were women owned and operated.
Wow.
But it's also because they would, they'd give you a little grog, a little ale. And then be like, well, look at my fine wench over here. Would you like to have my wench? And so, that was sort of what they did.
Justin, we just crossed the line, our supporters.
Are you kidding me? Did someone buy something?
Well, yes. And Joni Rankin, she donated $10, says, go get him, Petersons. Thank you very much, Joni. We appreciate that.
Did someone buy stained glass things?
No, but Ashley bought our Now I Have a Machine Gun sweatshirt from, the movie Die Hard. Yeah, that's an awesome sweater. So
Pregnant Ashley?
That's Ashley Ann, our lovely Ashley.
Yep, we know her.
We like Ashley. Thank you, Ashley. We appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. After Justin is gone here in about like 10, 12 minutes or so, then we will play the bonus content for you before we leave today. So thank you for keeping that string unbroken. We appreciate it. Yes.
We love that.
It's like a tradition. Like, we have to watch the doc.
And like at the end of
I feel like really upset.
At the end of every night, like after we've worked our ass off, like writing the emails, the text messages, the pushes, the bumps, the tweets, the posts, the booked the guests, written the show, pulled the clips, and done everything. It's like 9:00 at night. My eyes are burning, and I'm like, this content. The mini documentary. and then we like stumble upstairs at like 9:00 or 9:30, put the dogs to bed, and then
tired last night.
Oh
Yeah.
God, yes. But we do it for you guys because we know that you appreciate it and because you've been big supporters of us. We are so grateful. The Wake Up America show is supported by viewers and listeners like you, and those donations to unlock the bonus content, of course, make it all worth it for us. So thank you very much. Our friend Gannon as well just bought your gun cleaning hat. So there you go. Yeah.
So yeah, it says my gun cleaning hat, and then it has 2 bullet holes in it.
Yes, very funny, Stephanie. Great one.
We named it because we're going to a gun show today in
Yeah.
Cook County here in
love
our local area.
Love my gun shows. Love my gun shows. All right. Speaking of gun shows, my brother Justin Peterson is here with us live from Boston. How's it going there, JP?
Not only am I a gun show, I've actually been told also that I am a smoke show, which was a term that I did
So
not
what is
ever
that?
hear. I'd never heard that before. Some
What is
20-year-old
that?
kid said that about me.
Oh,
No,
a younger boy. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I'd never heard that before. I was like, smoke show.
not come.
Oh, I thought that was like some barbecue or something. I was like, what's
not
that
So
mean?
what does that refer to? Does that refer to your arms or like what
No,
is
I think
smoking?
it just means like you're so hot you're smoking. So
Oh,
they're like,
okay.
oh, you're a smoke
Smoke
show.
show. That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, it reminds me of this Kamala Harris, Donald
not
Trump
come.
clip a little bit here. Do not come.
Do not come.
I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come. I love how it ends though. Listen to Trump. Listen. Oh.
Women are on birth control. There you go. There you go. Because the women are like, no, 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 no. And then the man's just like,
I mean, ask yourself if you're enjoying the Wake Up America show, if it's too much to click that like button. And if you're joining us here for the first time today, you haven't followed the channel yet, what are you doing? The Wake Up America show streams live every Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. And sometimes it gets a little bawdy, and even sometimes it gets a little porny. Freedom Family Friday, my brother Justin Peterson joins us live. My smoking hot redheaded libertarian wifey Steffi, who I'm duly married to, and having a little baby Hazel is joining us live here on set too. So, Justin, I was really touched by the photograph you posted the other day of Grandma Hazel and our mom together, with their hats, wearing their funny hats.
Oh, yes.
And then you had said that you were excited because you're going to have a little niece running around who's going to have the same name as Grandma. To have another little Hazel running around is going to be very special.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is you get, and anybody who's older, past 30, past their prime, anybody who's past their prime will understand.
It's okay.
I am.
It's all
I
right.
am. Mhm.
Well, every experience you have in life as you get older it's like that movie Inside Out. All the memories and all of the things that happen in life, even the new things that happen, are tinged with sadness. So even in the midst of a
Yeah.
very happy moment of your life, there will be this undercurrent of sadness that's there. And that's one of the things about being adult that's very interesting. Because when you're young, it feels as though your memories are just happy, right? Because your family might be there and everyone's together.
Everybody's
Then
alive and together.
You
Everybody's
don't feel
alive
that
and together. And
nostalgia
then
so much. You're just in the moment.
There is nothing to feel nostalgic for.
Right.
Right. And then you get older, but even like having the baby, it's like, it's not just that the baby's coming and that's a wonderful thing. It's the who isn't here to celebrate. That's the other underside of that,
Mhm.
which is like you yearn for the experience of sharing that with, your loved ones who are no longer here. So there's always this idea of happiness is always inverted by sadness at the same time. So it's complex. It's the complexity of becoming a human being and what it means to be an adult.
Absolutely.
I try not to think about mom mostly because I don't want to feel the wave of emotions and things, but I do sometimes, dwell on her and consider how she would feel about this situation or that. And I just, I guess I didn't, in order to avoid the rush of emotion and potential tears that might come from thinking about what mom would think about her granddaughter being named Hazel after her mother, I can imagine that would have been a very deeply, deeply emotional
Oh,
event for her if she had lived long enough to see her granddaughter, baby Hazel. So
Mhm.
I imagine that she would find that to be lovely. And of course, her middle name Rose after Grandma Rose as
Yeah,
well,
both
right?
of our grandmothers.
So I mean, and it's certainly a lot to live up to because Grandma Hazel was tough, and then Grandma Rose was sweet.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
there was both of our grandmothers really represented the best that women have to offer in this world. I mean, you really don't get a more perfect picture of femininity than sort of the combination of both of our grandmothers.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
and
and
yeah.
oh, go on.
No, please.
Oh, that's why I like to keep people's spirits alive, even when they're not here with us. So it's like,
Yes.
if there's certain articles of clothing or certain foods, we're definitely going to make Hazel your mom's chili. that we enjoy making together. So it's like by bringing in the things that your mom and your grandmother enjoyed, I think we can still, keep that spirit alive of these individuals. And Hazel's going to know who these people are, and she's going to love them too.
Right. Well, that's why I love the movie Coco, right? That Dia de los Muertos, that honoring of the dead that the Mexican culture does, where they go to the cemeteries and they put the candles on everything, and they have the ofrendas, right, where they have the fruit and all of the family pictures and everything. That is a part of their culture. That the people that have crossed over are still in their family. They're still a part of the family. They don't just disappear, but they continue on for future generations to know who they are. So I think that's a beautiful cultural tradition for sure. 100%. Yeah.
I look forward to all of our new cultural traditions that we're going to have with my daughter, who is going to be with us this year for her very first Christmas. We're going to have little baby Hazel at Christmas, her first Christmas all together. All of us Petersons will be together, and we will create new traditions with our new families. Justin, my brother, I love you deeply. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners before we let you go today?
Well, you can catch me on the Twitter. I comment once a week, maybe, but I love to follow the conversations. I'm, if you want to talk to me. I also have a Substack coming out today. I write about vocal pedagogical history, which is not political. My Substack is one of the ones that's not actually about politics. Although give it time, and I'm sure I'll start to have some spicy hot takes about all the BS that's going on in the music world. Substack is Justin Peterson, same way Austin spells his name, .substack.com. And I'll see you all next Friday.
Love you, brother.
Love you.
Love you too. Have a good one,
see
y'all.
you next week. Thank you.
Take
what
care.
do you guys think of Justin Peterson? Can we get an applause for JP?
He always has nice insight.
Andy Opperman says, loves when Justin is on. Bring on the bonus footage and donated $25. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
And so did Nelson65 for the bonus. And I like it when your brother is on. Yes.
Oh my gosh, so we've surpassed the 50.
Yes. We've done much better.
Oh,
it's
thank you.
Yeah, our supporters are keeping hope alive, because at the end of the day, we don't have like big sponsors and things. We don't have a gigantic audience, but the truth is that we don't need to have millions of people tuning into the show. We just need a strong group of supporters who want to see the show stay on, who want to see what Stephanie and I are going to continue to bring in terms of content. Your hustling and homemaking show, for example, when you make these donations to the show, they help us not only to grow our content, to produce a show with Stephanie. They help us whenever, for example, we need new technical equipment. We got to
like I had to get a ring light, and then we have some microphone parts coming because I didn't have a setup. The only thing I came here with was my old ring light from years ago. So it's like now I need my own setup.
Yeah, so you're helping to build us out for our content, and as we said, it's 10 o'clock at night, and I'm producing the bonus content for the next day. Like, we are constantly working to produce and provide you with what we believe is some of the best Liberty content out there. And ask yourself this: if you visited apforlibertyshop.com, are there any other Liberty merch shops out there who have what we have, as unique as we have? I mean, I think that we really bring something unique to the table, and you've shown that you appreciate it with your purchases and with your Rumble rants. We can't say thank you enough for supporting our content creation, but also for supporting our family, because you are truly supporting a family with your financial donations. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I feel so relieved to know that in the time that I can't work as hard, we're going to be okay financially.
Right. Yeah. Because there's a lot of fear coming up where Steffi's going to have to take a little bit of a back seat in terms of
for at least, several weeks, a month at least, or more.
Well, and here's the thing. Another thing that we're spending money on is we now have a part-time employee, which is great.
Yes.
I mean, I'd love to be able to bring him on full-time. We do have a sponsor who's going to do a trial run here soon, which, if that works out, we are going to be like going gangbusters and investing in our content strategy, if it works out. So we're going to do our best for that. But, that's going to help our part-time employee. We'll be able to step in, because Stephanie does a lot of the marketing work for the show as well. So behind the scenes, Stephanie is just, she's hustling and she's homemaking.
I'll figure that out.
Mike dropped 16, dropped in $50, says, keep up the good work. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We're going to take that. We're going to invest that money in the fight for liberty.
Aww.
If you haven't already, make sure that you click the follow button if it's your first time watching us. And if you haven't clicked the like button, what are you doing? It's easy. It's free. Click the like button. We appreciate that very much. We're grateful to you. Love Kit says, do you all have a locals? So we don't do a locals, but here's
what is that?
So it's kind of like a little community that they have on Rumble. But
I didn't know about
we don't
this.
do that. What we do is wakeupamericashow.com/support. If you'd like to become a monthly supporter, a pledger, essentially, just an FYI, you get 20% off at the shop, and you get entered into raffles for prize drawings. And if you do like the Peterson's Patriot level, you're on the Christmas card list from us. So in this year, of course, Baby Hazel's going to be on it. So visit wakeupamericashow.com/support if you'd like to become a monthly contributor to help us to grow like crazy. We want to become the Libertarian Daily Wire. More hustling and homemaking, more shows, more podcasts, more content, more interviews, more goofing around and having a lot of fun in the mornings, and perhaps even during the day if we can produce some more shows. Who knows? Steph, anything else?
As always, be free.
Be free, guys. We appreciate you very much. Yes, Corey says he wants a forum for us all to chat. All right, I'll look into it for you guys today.
Oh, yeah, I like learning about these new things.
I'll look into it this weekend, although I am going to be a Donald Trump delegate to the Congressional Convention this weekend.
Yeah.
Fighting for your rights.
And I'm going to be watching.
My very first elected office, which is not an office, but just, I'm a delegate. I get to vote on the Republican Party platform this weekend. Hopefully it won't be too rancorous, and I might even run for a little spot myself while I'm there. We'll see. Who knows? All right.
Ooh, stay tuned.
Stay tuned for all the exciting news, but you'll have to come back on Monday on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupamericashow.com.
So cool. Wow.
Enjoy the bonus content. Wake Up America Show's bonus content. This week's theme is the guns that won, featuring guns that built the American Republic. Today's firearm is Eugene Stoner's M16 and the civilian variant, the AR-15. The M16, an iconic weapon with a tumultuous beginning in Vietnam, has significantly influenced military armament in the Western world. Its story intertwines desperate soldiers, bureaucratic battles, and a visionary engineer challenging traditional weaponry views. This narrative embodies the struggle between innovation and tradition, reflecting broader societal conflicts over technological and political changes. The Korean War highlighted the inadequacies of WW2 firearms, prompting a reevaluation of military firepower needs. The U.S. Army's quest for a versatile firearm led to the development of the M16, aiming to replace multiple existing weapons. Research at Aberdeen Proving Ground and Johns Hopkins University advocated for a high-velocity, small-caliber bullet based on combat data. Despite initial resistance, the Army sought to replace the M14, which struggled in Vietnam, with a more effective weapon. Armalite, under Eugene Stoner's engineering, created the lightweight AR-10 and then the AR-15, utilizing innovative materials and design. General Willard Wyman's support for the AR-15's development highlighted the military's interest in revolutionizing infantry weapons. The AR-15, with its lightweight design and high-capacity magazine, promised a significant advantage in firepower and maneuverability. The development of a unique .222 Remington cartridge enabled the AR-15 to deliver high-velocity rounds with improved lethality. Despite its potential, the AR-15 faced skepticism and bureaucratic hurdles, criticized for its unconventional design and materials. Testing inconsistencies and institutional resistance threatened the AR-15's adoption, despite its demonstrated effectiveness. The sale of the AR-15 designed to Colt and subsequent marketing efforts gradually shifted perception towards the rifle's capabilities. Colt's promotion of the AR-15, including demonstrations of its effectiveness, caught the attention of military leaders, leading to its adoption. The decision to equip the Air Force with AR-15s marked the beginning of the M16's journey to becoming a staple in military armaments, overcoming initial setbacks through persistent innovation and advocacy.
Expanse of time, a year might seem like a mere moment, but oh, what a year it's been. In September 2022, Austin and Stephanie Peterson embarked on a journey to wake up America. They began humbly, with just 20 souls tuning in, learning, listening, and though challenges arose, like the looming shadow of YouTube demonetization, their spirit never waned. And now, thanks to you, thousands rise with the sun to join them, to listen, to engage, to be a part of a community. So here's to you, and to wake up America, for memories shared, for friends made, for the journey ahead, and for never, ever forgetting to rise and freedom. Happy anniversary.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Is the outdoor of your home about as exciting as a library? Then spice it up and unbore your space with our custom metal signs. Crafted with love and a bit of libertarian magic, you can customize your own metal sign at ap4libertyshop.com. So head to ap4libertyshop.com, customize your own metal sign today.
Welcome to a world of vocal discovery at Peterson Voice Studio. I'm Justin Peterson, here to guide your musical journey. Envision a place where your voice reaches new heights, where every note tells a story. We embrace all singers, from the enthusiastic shower vocalists to aspiring stars, ensuring each voice finds its unique rhythm and tone. Are you ready to elevate your voice? Visit petersonvoicestudio.com and sign up for remote lessons tailored just for you. Let's begin this melodious journey together.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP4Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at ap4libertyshop.com.